Welcome everyone, Simon here from the Whales of Wall Street. We have an XRP Ripple video here. This is very rare for us. Of course, there's been a bit of price action with Ripple, and actually I was asked in the comments a week or two ago to start covering XRP if I was a fan of it. Well, the answer to that, guys, is I'm a holder of XRP for a few years now. Not as long as many probably out there already. But the reason we don't really cover this topic gigantically is because there's like a million channels out there that have covered it longer than we have, and there's a lot of information out there already. But I guess this is open to you guys, so let me know in the comments below if you want more Ripple XRP videos in the near future. This one doesn't really need a major introduction. I'm not going to go into too much detail about that, but what I will speak about is why I am invested in this project in particular. And this stems back for some time. There's obviously a lot of history with Ripple XRP, and particularly around the founders and the fact that Jed moved away from there into XLM Stellar a few years back. There's been all this controversy about should XRP being given to the retail investor, should it not have been institutional and in the private sector. So there's loads of things going around here, but of course the big thing that bores the hell out of me, in all honesty, I can't lie, is this whole SEC investigation as to whether it's a security or not, whether it's done illegal transactions, whether it's done illegal exchange listings and opened itself up to the public. And you sit there scratching your head. I remember in the pandemic year 2020, big moves. We'll go into the price shortly in a minute anyway. There's big moves on XRP, and then it dropped down because the SEC got involved. And when that happened, all these lawyers turned up all over the place with YouTube channels, and everyone was just constantly, every week, the narrative was changing. Oh, something's happening. Oh, no, it's not happening. It is happening. And I just got tired of it. I was like, do you know what? If XRP is under 50 cents, I will be buying it in a DCA aspect, as I do with every other token. I do genuinely believe that XRP under the cost of a whole dollar is absolutely fantastic buy. And obviously the lower, the better. And I was buying a lot of my XRP back at around the sort of 8 to 10 cent mark. We'll go into that again in a bit more detail. So I'm a long holder of XRP, and I continue to be. I'm not really selling this one. I'm just holding it until in the future. Probably 2025 onwards, right? But we have this big thing with XRP. December 2020, guys. This is how long it's been going on for. Seriously? Like, why is it taking this long? Are you seriously telling me that each other party cannot get to a resolution within nearly 2 years? Come on. In fact, it would be, it's crazy. It's coming up to 2 years now this December, isn't it? And for me, it's like, well, there were always a couple of really interesting observations. I remember one in 2017 called the Kin coin, right? KIN. And they were deemed a security in the end, but even so, they got the recognition and the clarity that they were a security at the time, and everyone thought, oh, well, this is going to flop now. But it staggered up, I think, something stupid like 1,400% in the space of 48 hours. So if you can imagine the magnitude of Ripple, whether it gets a failure to this security element or an acceptance, I think it's going to have some giant traction because it has the clarity, right? And there's this big talk recently, if you remember that video we did probably about 1 or 2 months ago, about all these other projects being pulled into the fact that they might be securities like LCX, etc. And I was like, well, the only reason this is happening, and it's only happening in America, right, this XRP lawsuit, by the way, but it affects the world because the world holders of XRP are there, okay? This is a global entity, it's a global project, it's a global investment, right? And this is what's happening. The SEC, who are arguably archaic and probably a bit clueless as to the most modern sort of technologies anyway, they had to get an obscene amount of lawyers involved and an obscene amount of professionals who understood the digital currency markets to get a hold of this, right? And it's the same with Ripple. They brought in their team, which is crazy. And what's interesting is it's taking 2 years. So in my mind, and I'm honestly speaking, like hand on heart here, with the way the world is and the things that I know about the World Economic Forum and all of this, I would not be surprised if XRP is being suppressed by the SEC, aka the government, because they know something, or maybe something that many people know. I think I have an idea, but maybe they're doing it because they are working together rather than against each other. And this is just theatre to make sure that they obtain the US dollar as a reserve for X amount of decades to come. Not hopefully, or I don't really care, the centuries to come. In retaliation of the potential, of course, the digital yuan, the digital ruble, having some power all of a sudden. These over in the Asian regions and Russia regions are a big situation right now in the financial market, because they have been trialing a digital currency for years, guys. Right, I used to work for a Chinese company, and I knew the people in China are operating this kind of coin, even recently in the Olympics and things like this, especially around the CBDCs, right? So XRP was built in here for Ripple, particularly around cross-border payments. We go back to this topic here. It's an ISO 222 compliant token. Okay, how on earth can this be deemed arguably a security when it's placed as a standardization, a world standardization for new financial messaging? Okay, it's theatre to me. It's nonsense. It's a waste of my time to see the back and forth, to see the media attention, which arguably in some ways is price manipulation, in my opinion. And I don't stand for that. I'm holding XRP because I know the power that it has and the ability that it has, the team it's got, what Ripple stands for. Ripple is a phenomenal technology and company, guys. It's not going anywhere. Who cares what the SEC thinks? But we have to care because it is suppressing the price, whether it's to give advantage to someone else, or, as I said, I genuinely believe that they're working together, honestly, to help understand and work out with the current American administration, which are actually conveniently, simultaneously coming up with the crypto framework for the US population and probably the world as well, which, by the way, are administrators who come from the membership and leadership programs of the World Economic Forum anyway, or are members of the World Economic Forum. It is all theatre, guys. Like, this is all I can say about Ripple XRP, okay? And generally the principle of finance in general in this world. It all comes stemming from one group of people. So we have these guys with the DLT, distributed ledger technology, built around this ISO compliance. Not only that, they are, I don't know if they're family members, but they're certainly members of the standardization board. You can't throw these guys out, right? And this is the significant thing for me. I am a big believer and a holder of ISO compliant projects and tokens because they're ahead of the game. They're understanding the world financially for the years to come, but also how blockchain will be integrated into society, both on the private sector and the public sector as well. These guys are huge. Now, as I said, I'm not going to go into depth about Ripple XRP. There's a million videos out there already, but I just wanted to reiterate that I'm a holder. I'm a firm believer of them, and I don't believe in any media nonsense in general anyway. I know it's all theatre. All about this fuel and everything. It's all theatre. Like, you have to understand there's a process. They all work together. All these governments, they're not enemies. They work together. Trust me. And this is the same implication of the financial infrastructure. There is a battle going on about who can dominate the reserve currency and in a digital format, because if you can do it digitally, you have arguably extreme control on finances around the world. If you think about the verification, the history, the processing, the tracking, the tracing, the ability to switch on and off money very quickly and easily. And as I said, I've got people who work in World Pay. Some I literally can't say some of the things that I've been told, but like, there's big things going on that you don't see in the media. That's all I can say. Like, you can trust me or not trust me, but the fact of the matter is, I know what I know. And there are big things coming. We know as well by 2025, potentially November 2025, based on the timeframes that we've been given by BIS, etc., that the framework of ISO is replacing the existing SWIFT, IBAN, CHAPS systems. I honestly I said this, maybe I did one Ripple video a while back. I can't remember. That's how limited we do these videos. But the fact of the matter is, like, by November 2012, I honestly can't, I could see no resolution to this for a long time. Up until the point where everything switches over, and then all of a sudden, we find out that, oh yeah, everything's cool, and the likes of Ripple, etc., are all good to go. And hey presto, conveniently to 99% of the world who had no idea any of this was going on in the background anyway, get a new digital currency system powered by the likes of Ripple for the new digital currency and new reserve currencies around the world. Crisscrossing border payments for next to nothing, if nothing at all in terms of fees. It drives the economy, it drives the speed of everything, automation, everything. And I love talking about ISO because I think it's fascinating. I have a lot of the different projects. Some are arguably officiated by ISO, some are deemed to be. We talk about like the likes of Zinfin, Quant, HBAR Hedera, which is phenomenal as well, IOTA. All of these cool projects, I would argue that are in my top 5, certainly my top 10, for the longevity, for what's to come. So when people ask me about Ripple, what do I think about the SEC situation? I honestly couldn't care less, because it is literally just the SEC. Everywhere around the world is absolutely fine with Ripple XRP. So you have to ask, well, why are the US the only country doing this? And the only answer I can have in my head is this is theatre that we see in the media and everything like this, or perceived to be theatre. And the fact of the matter is they're probably working together to find out how they can infrastructure this permanently and efficiently to integrate it around the world, especially in the US, and take full control again of digital dollars in the future and for the decades, as I said, or even the centuries to come. I don't know what the next development is after blockchain. We'll have to see when we get there, but we are literally at the early stages. It's quite exciting in that capacity for sure. Let's go into the chart of XRP. It's something I haven't done for some time. As you can see, actually, probably the last time was around the high points of XRP back here, because it's the last only few drawings I have. So apologies for that. But as you can see, very interestingly, we are powering to these points that we saw back in July 2020, and these fluctuating moments between the months of November 2020 and March 2021. So we are testing this ground quite significantly, and I think actually this is an old line that I drew in, and very conveniently we are matching back towards it. So I don't even know when I drew this line in. You have to see the last Ripple video I did, to be honest. That's how long ago it was, and that's clearly an area of interest that I thought about, and that's where we are. So what does that tell you? It tells you must always pay attention to the history and documentation of any asset. You can see here there's resistance to these areas. You could see the fluctuation up, and it always came back down to this area, but it was like a magnet. We had this big power up like we did with the rest of all the markets last year. You remember last year, especially with the big meta conversations, big powering up, and it always came back down. And this area here, 60 cents roughly, is arguably a good DCA opportunity in terms of selling, but we can't talk about that yet until we define this particular area here. This is where we are right now, literally, as I say, August 2020, which was around 32 cents, not far off to where it is now at 38, but you can see the lower points back down here at 30, 32. This is trying to define this 30-cent area as support. And if you look at the longevity of Ripple, and I'm talking about like 4 or 5 years worth of data, you will see that this is a significant area, guys. This is a significant area. It's on the way up the last few days. I'm just going to zoom in because it looks like a bit of a mess right now. But you can see, look at this. It's hardly moved, guys. Like the highest point recently of it coming up slightly was here, 47 cents. So there's plenty of room and there's plenty of opportunity, in my opinion. As I said, I was buying like XRP around 10, 12 cents or something around this mark. It's now at 36, 37 cents. It's probably one of the only projects in my portfolio that is still in good profit. And I'm keeping it. I'll always accumulate XRP under 50 cents as and when I can. It's on my ledger. I don't touch it. I'm not interested in looking at it as such until at least 2025, because that's when I think everything financially gets switched on. That's when most of the media and most of the people around the world will go, oh, what's all this technology and this digital currency we're talking about? Because trust me, well over 90% of the world's population do not know about crypto or how blockchain is or what it does or how it works. When that happens and people come in and go, oh, I would like to invest in that, that's when the money comes in. We're talking about the mass money, right? Right now, we're just at this stage where we've had the early investors, we've had the people that are early adopters, and now we're getting a bit of a mix of people investing, probably arguably people like myself, I'll be honest, who are still early in this game, respectively, and then eventually the mass will come in. So we have to be aware of this in the future. There's great opportunities to sell this token at higher prices. But if it gets to $1 again, yeah, I might be triggering that, irrespective of whether it's now or in 2025. Who knows? But we are seeing some updates here because of, again, media attention kicking in, saying, oh, we might have imminently a result of the SEC XRP lawsuit. If I had 1 million XRP every time I heard that for the last 2 years, honestly, I wouldn't probably even have this channel. I'd be on a yacht somewhere. Trust me. Like, I think this is, again, another load of nonsense. Is it going to happen in the grand scheme of things, the way the world is right now? Do you honestly think we're going to get some really exciting news in the middle of the nonsense that's going on around the world right now? I don't see it. It's fantasy. If it happens, wow, this is amazing, brilliant. But I can't see it. Let us know in the comments below what you think about that as well. I might sound like a ranting lunatic on this video, by the way, but it's just because this is why I stay away from this project. I love it, and I love people talking about it and watching it, but I cannot stand the daily and weekly nonsense of the SEC XRP lawsuit coming to an end. We see an imminent result, and then all these lawyers on YouTube kick in again, and then all of a sudden the next week, oh, actually no, it's gone back a stage, we found this and we found this, and I'm like, come on, seriously? Are people really interested in all this stuff? All I want to see, and of course, don't get me wrong, it's right to keep an eye on this stuff all the time for the fluctuation of prices, but you have to also be realistic and understand what exactly is going on, and take a step back and go, seriously? Is this really what's happening? So yeah, I can't see it happening like a big overtake all of a sudden, or it just all of a sudden the lawsuit dropping. I mean, if it does, we'll be flying. We'll have to see. But if it does match that kind of like Kincoin in 2017, wow, we could be seeing some significant numbers. But I can't see it happening anytime right soon. So currently we're floating around this 38-cent mark. People are saying, oh, is this a good time to buy XRP? Well, the answer is how you look at it. In the longevity of things, I think it's brilliant, regardless to whether it's 40 cents, 30 cents, 50 cents. Anything under 50 cents for me right now with XRP, even under $1, is phenomenal. Considering the longevity, I'm talking about like by 2025, by the next 5-7 years, it's going to be phenomenally high priced. That's what I believe. That's what I see if you look at the magnitude of what it is and what it is doing, and the financial market in general across the world. We're talking about the whole entire world's cross-payment system being replaced, and it's already ISO compliant. It will be huge. It will be huge. But that's going to take a bit of time. So my answer to this right now is to be wary that we are seeing this good news come in. If, as we have done a million times in the last 2 years, get the news in a few days' time or next week saying, oh, actually something else has come up, it's back to square one, or this and the other, you'll see this come down again. So you just got to be wary of it, and maybe, just maybe psychologically, think whether you think this is theatre or nonsense or not, play to the game. Should we just play to the game? Because right now I'm like, okay, we're moving up. Am I anticipating a drop down? Well, there's an argument to say that. So then if that is the case, we look at these higher points around here, around the 40-cent mark, which is very much touching. In fact, it did earlier today. It got to a high of, what are we saying at the top here? 0.3945. Point proven. So not only a round number, but it's matching not only the resistance on the way down on the 27th, because it went up a bit, but it did penetrate back down. But there's a significant line level here, both here on the 30th of July, a slight touch near on the 24th of June, and as I said, loads of fluctuation in June, early June this year. So it's an area of an interest of resistance. This is a powerhouse area. So if we get to the 40 and we edge over it, and we start bouncing around, this could take us up a bit more. However, if the news comes in that, oh, it's gone backwards again, you're going to see the drop off. So you can start, as I said, take away the theatre and just use it as a manipulation tool almost. You could see that, okay, this might be a highish point. If I was buying at these lower regions, probably a good time to take some profits if you have put significant amounts in, by the way. I mean, if you haven't been, you're better off just maybe waiting like I do, because it all depends on the volume and the amount that you've put in, right? And yes, percentage gains are important, but for me, 10 cents isn't enough, right? In terms of my holding, if it went up to 50 cents, I'd be picking my ears up a bit and seeing what I might have to do. But right now, I'm just holding tight because I feel like this is a resistance area anyway. And again, matching back to the historic information, I didn't draw this line in today, by the way. This is from one of the last videos of an area of interest, and that is conveniently where we are right now. So keep an eye out, guys, is all I'm saying, but just measure the fact that we're on the way up the last 2-3 days, and it's going to be very heavily impacted on this news and rumor mill, which constantly goes round and round. So just be cautious of that, but make your strategy based on what you believe or don't believe. If you believe in this whole scenario, that's absolutely fine. That's your opinion and that's your thought process, and play along to it. If you don't believe and you think it's theatre like I do, again, that's your opinion and thought process, but you can still play along to it. But you always have to just be aware of these things. The other things I'll mention here as well, the volumes aren't gigantic. They're big numbers, but compared to what they used to be with Ripple and everything like this, they're not huge differences. And this indicates one thing to me, is that everyone's still a bit cautious. They're umming and ahhing, and they're still wondering what on earth's going on with this lawsuit. Understandably, we all are, right? So it's not significant enough yet, volume-wise, to be like, oh, this is going majorly up. I think this is just a similar pattern that we've seen over and over again so far. So the next couple of days are going to be really interesting to follow this. The MACD is in a positive upward trend still, as it has been since this crossover here on the 6th or 7th of September. And the RSIs, for me personally, the 14-day is a no-go personally. I always like to look at that 40 mark as an initial investment, and that's where you probably go back a week or two with those initial investments. You're now in a mini FOMO mode right now if you edge over that 50 mark. And it's the same with the 28-day. You're now in that middle factor, in the sense that, are you going to get significant gains enough to make this worthwhile in chucking money in or not? And it's literally limbo. It's in the middle. As I said, when you're looking at these RSIs, this is where you want to be getting them. And if you look, as I mentioned just a minute ago, where these lower regions come in, it's kind of common sense really, obviously, right? But when you look at the RSIs, 32 on the 14, 28 on the 40, exactly where I kind of said, like that 40 mark is a very big bite point, especially on 28 days, because then when it starts coming up to these 50, 60s, you're almost making that double movement, right? So at the moment, for example, on the 14 day, if you're looking at a 2-week trade, you're seeing 32 down here, which is a really respectful low point. It gets to the 60 mark, and you know the indicators are confirming that you've almost in a double position. So just pay attention to all that. And I would just reiterate as well that we've moved from this point here on the 7th of September to the 18th, just over 2 weeks. It's very much around around literally pretty much bang on 25% increase. So it's a good little move over that little period of time. But you have to understand, like if you're seeing Ripple news and you're going, oh wow, it's going up again, be aware of the whole situation, not just the last couple of days and the last bits of news the last couple of days, but look at all the patterns from the last year or so. It's so repetitive, it bores me to death, but I'm an XRP holder because I believe in the future of it, and I'm not fazed by all this median stuff. You know, as I said, irrespective of the price today, tomorrow, if it's under 50 cents, in my honest opinion, for the longevity, it's a absolute steal. But of course, the lower you can get them, if you're a long-term holder, then it's more applicable. If you're looking for short-term gains and quick movements of money, i.e. you've just seen Ethereum go crazy because of the merge, and now you're going, oh wow, XRP's moving now, I must chuck it over here. You run a dangerous game sometimes. So just be aware. XRP in general is up 8% on the week and 4% up on the month, which is really good to see. And 18% up on the 3 months. It's one of the few assets that are showing green across those three, but it's still very much down in the 6 months, which argues my point about the fact that if you can get something of XRP under 50 cents in the longevity of things, there is big movement to come. whether it's in the next year or so towards that dollar mark, or it's in the future where we're talking about 5, 10, way more than $10 in my opinion over the next 5-10 years. Let's see how it goes, guys, but let us know in the comments below what you think. Sorry, it's a bit of a long one, but you asked for it and I'm trying to deliver. So if you want any more XRP Ripple videos, do let me know in the comments below, and I will try and track this more often. But I don't really want to be delving into the nonsense media articles of, oh, it's imminent, oh, it's not, it's imminent, it's not. That's not what we're about here. I don't believe media, and yeah, you can play the game of media, but I don't believe it. Guys, wrapping it up there. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and make sure as well that you hit the bell button also so you get notified of all the awesome videos we have coming your way. But until the next Ripple XRP video, take care, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.